Hey everybody, welcome back to Badminton 290 series. This is Professor Brent Hoover speaking. Today we are going to look at one of the last custom assignments for the course, but it's actually one of the most important ones. Once you actually go out and start your business, it's called a Schedule C 1040 worksheet. Now this is assuming that you're going to use the cash accounting method, but if you are, this is going to be your best friend. So, let's open this up. Alright. So I gave you the transactions for 1 month. Naturally, this is going to run for an entire calendar year if this was your real Schedule C books. Alright, first things first, I believe I asked you to insert for, I believe it was your name of your company. Let's just call it, Midnight. I believe I did something about Information Systems, LLC. Alright, now one thing I did notice here is I forgot to tell you to merge and center this across the entire board. I originally had you only do for A through C. It's actually best to do this for all the way. There we go. And I believe I asked you to put another one about, say, Schedule C worksheet. So let's put that in there. Same thing, merge and center. There we go. Alright. And naturally you want to bold these. And then we're going to center them just to make them nice. Now, you can go to data. And of course, if we've done it before, we're going to filter this. This will help you a lot. Now, obviously, you would want to change a few things. You might want to change this to cash out. Because that's how the cash accounting system works. A revenue is not considered revenue until that money enters your bank account. And an expense is not considered an expense until it actually leaves your bank account. That's why they call it cash in, cash out. Now this could actually be changed to a reference number. Just for right. There we go. And I think we got everything good. We might want to change this slightly, make so we can see. Alright. And I believe I asked you to do a border. So let's do that. Outline, and we can do one inline. Alright, so there we go. Now, I did ask you to do a few other things, actually to take C, and take D into, there we go. Take this and actually put them into the accounting format so you can see dollars. Now, here's the thing people have made a mistake on. See this investment deposit of $5,000? This is not revenue. This is the equity that you're putting in from your own personal account. And in this case, you could actually put this, if you transfer it from another account, you put it in EFT. EFT stands for the fact is, say, hey, it's an electronic funds transfer. It could be transferred directly from one bank account to the other. These are going to be your check numbers. Now notice here you got DBT, that's debit. If you paid with your company debit card, we could change one of these actually to a credit. If your company has a small credit card that you're using to build not personal, but business credit, boost your paydex score, this is what you want to put on. Your accountant's going to want this just for reference here. So we pretty much set up everything we need to do. Now here comes the part actually over here. Let me see what I actually wanted you to name the second sheet. To total profit or loss. Total profit or loss. And then, yeah. Alright, so we'll do that. Alright, there we go. Now, here comes the most important thing. For a lot of guys, you did all this great, and what you do is you just manually sum these in. There is a better way of doing this. Because think about it. What if I wanted to add stuff at any time? What if I wanted to change something in terms of the classification? If you do that, just putting in, manually, saying, alright, advertising is going to be, let's see, in this case, sell, what is that? Where are we at? D15, I believe. Yeah. But guess what if that changes? What if you put another one be above that or another one after that? Or you change it, it's not advertising. Guess what? This is going to help you out. There's a new function. It's called not the sum, but sum if function. Alright? First you need to always identify the range. The range is required with the sum if function. Alright? Remember, these are all going to be expenses excluding gross receipts or gross sales. So, we're going to go back to here. Now, we're not even going to just select the range. We're going to select the entire D in this case. this is going to say, oh yeah, sorry, my fault. That should be F. My sincere apologies. What this is going to look through is first is through the 1040 classification system. It's going to look through this. It's going to try to identify what is advertising in this scenario. All right. The second part of this is looking at the criteria. You have to know what it should be looking for. In this case, just hit A1. All right. What this says is, hey, anything that says the word advertising, phrase like this, is going to look for. And then finally, you're going to sum the range. If so, sum through D through D. Now, there's a few things you have to do here. All right, there we go. Now, you probably think, all right, I'm done. Yeah, that actually is the advertising expenses here. But you want to do one final thing. You want to use an absolute cell reference. Because you want to lock in and say, all right, you're only going to look through F, and you're only going to look through D in this case. Oh, I accidentally put that the wrong place. Sorry about that, guys. It should be accurate. There we go. Notice, what this is saying is it's going to look through the other page. This whole system right here on this column. Anytime it hits advertising, that's why it's going to look for right here. It takes A1. Then it's actually going to sum anything that has that in all of D. Now, why didn't I do D4 through D34? Because what if you add new things to this? What if you need to add other expenses? Remember, this is just 1 month's work. That's why you want to do the entire column. And that's why we do F through F and D through D. And once you got that, watch what happens when you drag this down. It automatically does it for you. Brilliant, I know. Well, there you go. Here's the one thing you will have to adjust. Gross receipts or sales. It's not finding any answer. Why is that? Guess why? It still should look through F, but remember, that's a cash coming in. Revenues come in, they're not taken out of your account. So all we have to do is adjust one thing here. Just D to C. There you go. We have found all our revenue. Now the last thing you have to do is, of course, we want to do this. We're going to take the gross receipts or sales, just equal B6. Remember, these are automatic. That's why you can make any adjustments on the other page, and this will automatically create the calculations. And of course, total expenses, we just sum this up, right? So let's take all of this. But remember, a better way of doing that, of course, is we need to take out what? So let's, in this case, just go to B5. Because remember, there's gross receipts or gross sales. You don't want that one in there because that's not an expense. And there we go. Total expenses. And what do? We take this one. In this case, we have to add them together because we've done a negative. There we go. We got our total net loss in this case of $3,505. Now, here's the beauty about this. Is that no matter what we adjust on here, it's automatically going to follow. Now, this isn't exactly true because there's one thing you have to adjust. That's deductible meals and entertainment. For your taxes, you can only deduct 50% of these. So what are we going to do? Times it by 0.5. 60 becomes 30. Now, there would be naturally some other ones on here. These are not all the Schedule C templates we have right here. These are just some of them I figured that say, hey, these are the best ones. Depreciation falls in here as well. Anything going related to, say, taking your business miles. There's a deductible on your taxes as actually an expense on the Schedule C Part 3 part. They come out of this as well. But if these are all the expenses you had, guess what? Your accountant can automatically say, hey, I don't have to figure these out manually. You have all the formulas that do that work for me. Notice here, we can now change something. We can add a 131. And let's say we do a Facebook boost, more Facebook advertising. Let's say we take $20 out, pay for it by debit, and let's say we decided to call it advertising. That's what it is. What happened automatically? It's still summed. It said, hey, it's a new one. That's why we did the column, entire column, and not just the range of a certain part of a column. It's automatically changed it, automatically adjusted it. That's the beauty in this. Now, here's the thing though. Why is this important to sort? Well, naturally because your CPA probably would like to go through and double check this. Just because you put this as its other expenses, your CPA may say that's not another expense. They may say it's another category. Let's go into one that maybe works out. Rent, monthly office space. Well, let's just say if this was you put this under $100, could be a mailbox. Let's just say you're going with a big business mailbox, and they say, wait a second, we really don't think that's actually rent of other business property. We actually consider that to be an office expense. All we have to do is change that. And guess what? It takes away everything going from the rent and puts more into the office expense. So we can look at that. It doesn't matter. That's totally what's going on here. But it's going to adjust whatever you do based on that. It went from what, 244 to 350? Notice when you go, what happens over here? It changes that. That's the beauty about this. Alright. Now, what are some final things to consider? Well, if you wanted to use the others worksheet that we've been working on, that was the business mile log sheet, remember? I believe we put in, let's say, 30, or this is actually put into, we'll put that into a general number. Say 20, and then remember 40, I think we had 100 miles. Here's what you could do. You could take all this, right? We could sum everything we needed. In this case, let's just say that's the only amount of miles we drove for the business, 190 miles. We take 54 cents of a mileage rate. And we figured out that we can deduct $102.66. Now what you can do with that, of course, is we can move this sheet, right? Let's copy this. Let's move it to the schedule sheet. And let's make it create a copy. Alright. And if we wanted to add a new thing in here, we could. We could take this. And we could put this as deductible business miles. Essentially, this could fall under car expenses under your Schedule C. But we could also add it in there, right? We could say, whatever is on this sheet. And it automatically sticks it in this case. We would have to adjust total expenses to include it. There we go. It's adjusted. Your expenses went up by proportionally. In this case, actually did not. We need to put that in as a negative. Sorry about that. Alright, there we go. Now it's actually expenses been deducted. So there you go. This is a great tool to use. I don't care if you're just using it for this class or if you're an entrepreneur. Use a template. If you decide, hey, I don't want QuickBooks, I'd like to do everything in Excel, this is the best outlet to do. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And I believe the only other thing I asked you to do was, of course, to do some changing in the formatting. Now, obviously, you could make any choice. I will tell you, don't do a dark red as a fill background. Essentially, black text on red doesn't show up well. Do something a light color. But hey, that's totally up to your call. If you got any other questions, feel free to let me know. As always, thanks.